Now let's turn our attention to Africa, to Kenya in the east, where the government seems to have come full circle. After a few months of lying dormant, the taxes are back. Kenya's new Treasury Secretary has made an announcement. The government wants to raise about $1.2 billion in additional revenue. And they plan to get that money through taxation. So Kenya is back to square one, despite months of unrest. You may remember that taxes were central to the recent protests in the country. In mid-June, thousands of people took to the streets. They were protesting against their annual budget, the Finance Bill 2024. The bill was supposed to introduce new taxes, controversial ones, like a tax on bread and on sanitary pads and diapers. And this led to widespread public anger against the government and against Kenya's President William Ruto. Ruto became president in September 2022 and he's been raising taxes ever since. His detractors have even likened him to a biblical tax collector. But he kept pushing on until the anti-tax protests erupted. They put him on the back foot. The protests were organized online, mostly by ordinary young Kenyans. The demonstrations were led by members of Gen Z who took to the streets to protest peacefully. But they were met with police brutality. And this angered the demonstrators. Public anger reached a peak on June 25th when thousands of protesters stormed Kenya's parliament building in the capital, Nairobi. And this was unprecedented. It made Ruto back down.
Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024 and listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn.
Ruto decided to scrap his own tax bill, just like the protesters wanted. But it wasn't enough. Some Kenyans continued to protest and demanded Ruto's resignation. Chants of Ruto must go rang through the streets. So the president has been doing everything he can to stay in power. On the 11th of July, he dismissed his entire cabinet. On the 24th of July, he announced a new broad-based government. He inducted members of the main opposition party into his cabinet, creating a unity government. He even made one of the opposition members his Treasury Secretary. And now that very same opposition politician is talking about tax hikes. So in some ways, the situation in Kenya is even worse than before, because in June, there was a viable political opposition to Ruto. But now he has co-opted them, and they are the ones saying that the taxes will be reintroduced. This includes a controversial Eco Levy, a tax on goods that pollute the environment. This includes a 10% tax on goods that can harm the environment, both imported goods and things like locally manufactured plastic. This Eco Levy was one of the most contentious new taxes because it would have applied to sanitary pads and diapers, which are use and throw items. But the Kenyan government says that this time sanitary pads will be exempt. Now, diapers have not been mentioned yet, but they're also a contentious issue, so they may also be exempt. But Kenya's eco-tax will return in an amended form. 48 other items from the rejected budget will make a comeback, again, after a few tweaks. Kenya's new unity government plans to pass the updated tax plan by the 30th of September, exactly 3 months after they were supposed to pass the budget. All this begs the question, did the Kenyan protests really achieve anything? It seems Ruto has won in the end. He has stayed on in power, co-opted the opposition and outmaneuvered the protesters. At the end of the day, he's getting what he wanted, more taxes, after months of demonstrations and lives lost to police brutality. Are Kenyans going to be fine with this, or will they take to the streets again? We'll see in the days to come.
Climate change is on our doorstep. It's time for a revolution to take root. And it starts with 1.4 billion Indians. It starts with one tree for humanity, one tree for Mother Earth, one tree for our future. Project One Tree, a News 18 network initiative.
Across continents, one powerful news source. bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.